Welcome to the One Up Podcast, the place where we talk sports, movie, video games, and everything else under the sun. I am your host, El Caballo. Here with me are my co-hosts, DJ Doey Fresh, Texas one without a gun, Mateo, and last but not least, the bald one, the great one, Pucho. And if you're new to our channel, please show some love by hitting that share, like, and subscribe button. And if you're a returning gang member, thank you for continuously one-upping yourself every single time you come back.
Gang, gang.
And in this episode, we are talking affirmative action, eat the rich, and snitching.
Ooh.
Big ups. Grab everything.
Calm down, Chet.
Damn.
You can't follow that with Chet Hanks.
Can't follow with big ups. That shit would never die. That's going to be like a forever. Mateo don't like it.
Hey,
He don't
listen,
like big ups.
I saw Tom Hanks getting interviewed with his family. Guess who wasn't there?
Chet Hanks is never there, dude.
It's like, yeah, Chet Hanks did not make it to this one. Sorry, guys.
I was watching their TV show Your Honor on Paramount Plus. Chet Hanks is in there, and he's just Chet Hanks. Just minus the patois, but he was Chet Hanks.
The plot.
Do y'all think that Chet Hanks gets invited to Thanksgiving, or they just give him like a fake address or a fake destination and just leave him hanging?
I'm sure they love him.
Yeah, right.
Like the least loved son of that family. They love him.
I don't think there's a more loving person than Tom Hanks. That guy loves his son for sure.
Yeah, you could tell that he doesn't seem like he has a bad relationship with his kid, like, or with his father.
You would
I think
hope not.
Channel 7, that kid Andrew Culligan, he interviewed him. It was pretty
The
interesting.
guy he got accused of raping chicks. That guy.
Damn.
He apologized. He's like, it was pretty honorable. I was like, all right, he's.
Apologizing for raping is honorable to you?
I don't know. He made people feel uncomfortable. I don't know if he raped people, but I think he definitely made chicks feel super uncomfortable.
Right.
I don't know if he
apologize for like part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you should.
There's a lot of allegations out there, though. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do in that situation is, honestly. But
I mean, admitting that you're wrong is a one, right? I think that's a good thing.
That's a first step, but I don't think it makes it right.
I don't think
anything will make it right.
I know you're definitely not supposed to whip out a ukulele and play like a song about it. Y'all see that shit?
No, what happened?
He did that?
No. This is a separate thing. There was this comedian that like there's allegations about her grooming some of her young fans, and she addressed it using a ukulele and the power of song.
Wow.
Well, everybody expresses themselves in different ways. Okay, Mateo.
That's batshit crazy, though.
This is not where I thought we were starting the show.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. This is energy. I don't know if it's good energy, but it's energy.
I could feel the whiskey in my eyes. Like I'm like blinking a lot.
I could feel the wood from fucking Canada burning in my eyes because it's just coming over here again. My air quality's
Chicago
bad.
had the worst air quality in the world.
That shit sucked. Shit sucks. That day that I rode on my bike, it felt like I smoked a pack of cigarettes, bro. I don't know how to describe it. I was coughing up stuff. It was like nasty. I was like, ew.
That's put up pictures of Canada and it looked like Blade Runner, dude.
That's wild.
Right.
You know, Florida just hit #1 for most overpriced, or Miami hit #1 for most overpriced place to live or try to look for a house. Like New York was high, but it surpassed New York supposedly. Just by miles.
Specifically Miami, right? Like not
specifically Miami. And Orlando's going to be the next one because Orlando jumped up like 4 spots or whatever on the list.
I think it's not #1 because there's an apartment right now over Central Park. It's like $114 million or some shit like that. An apartment.
They probably take some kind of like average or mode or median, some kind of like tool to like determine rather than just being like, this is the most expensive place in all of the United States.
Yeah, I don't know what Tony's necessarily referring to, but he didn't say the most expensive. He said the most overpriced. which I don't know how they measure that.
Yeah, I mean,
cost of like trying to buy a
right?
house and stuff. I guess the way they are measuring it on.
I mean,
on
like
the
expensive versus overpriced could be very different, right?
Yeah, I mean it's
like someone could have the most overpriced eggs in America, and they may be like $10. It doesn't even got to be that much. It's just relative to eggs. It's a lot.
Overpriced. Yeah, I was paying a lot for my eggs.
Them happy eggs.
Not even.
Sick.
Not even.
So speaking of Florida, I was thinking about something this week, and I'm curious what y'all's take on as people that live in Florida or people that are formerly from Florida. Like something like 33% of the population in Florida is boomer aged, right? Because it's like a retirement destination. So what happens in like 10 years when all those boomers die off? Like, does the state flip and become like an all blue state? Is there going to be some kind of like hardcore like housing crash or something because there's not enough people to live in the houses or something?
No, pieces of shit keep moving in Florida constantly. That's what's happening constantly.
Yeah. What happens when the old people move to Florida is that the sun starts to encase their skin in like a thick. It's like you see those old people in Florida. Their shit is like it's a different type of skin.
Those
that
red people with the dark freckles.
Yeah,
that's a weird. They don't look white at all, but they're white people. It's weird.
That's what I was drinking with at that bar in Florida when I arrived.
So yes, this causes them to live an extended period of time. It's almost like the fountain of youth. These people get stronger down there.
Are we talking about gingers?
No.
Old people in Florida.
You said something about whatever.
Gingers too. Fuck them. All right, those red pieces of shit. All right,
I certainly don't like Carrot Top. Carrot Top could go fuck himself. For real.
No, we love all gingers.
This man watches too much South Park.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
I don't even refer to them as gingers. It's such a weird.
That is, I think it's hate speech.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that's hate speech.
Nice one, Tony.
You're the one saying they got no fucking soul and shit. Fuck out of here.
I don't think he mentioned anything about that in this particular conversation.
So I, in preparation to watch the new Indiana Jones, have been going back to watch like the old Indiana Jones. And I'm done with 2 of them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, 10 out of 10.
S tier.
Womanizing as fuck, but S tier. I was like, I love everything about this.
You love that.
He just grabs. That's it. He don't have to do anything. It's over for them. Temple of Doom. I don't know what Spielberg was smoking when he made that fucking movie, but that movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It's like half a wacky action movie and half a horror film. And then
Temple of Doom gets a pass. Temple of Doom is underrated, I think, honestly. It is wacky. It's weird. It doesn't fit with the rest of the Indiana Jones vibe completely. But Short Round, he's a national treasure. He makes up for it.
I heard that he won an like Emmy or something for that one movie.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah. I heard he's in there.
He's in a bunch of movies now. Like his career is basically like revitalized. It's awesome. It's so cool to see. I mean, granted, cool. I mean he was in Indiana Jones. He was in the Goonies. Like, you know, the man's got hits.
I didn't know he was in Goonies.
Did he win an Oscar? Is that what
something? He won something.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for like best supporting actor or something like that, I think.
Nice.
Yeah,
it was great. Also, he cried. He called out his Goonie buddies. He said the Goonies never say die. Like, it was great.
There's a lot of Indian people in that movie, bro. They're like 200 Indian kids in them scenes. I was like, bro, how much did they pay these people, bro? Is this shit ethical? I was looking at all of this. I was like, they're over here eating monkey brains and shit like that. I'm like, yo, Indian food is usually really good. Like they're out there making them look like savages.
I don't like any of those Indiana Jones movies. Shit's is garbage.
That is such a bad take. That is such a bad take.
It's a totally consistent take. Tony has horrible taste in things.
That's incorrect. That's Doe who has horrible taste in things. I'm telling you, I've probably watched one, maybe a half of another one. Completely fell asleep as a child growing up. The wackest shit to me ever.
All right, so just take just take 2 hours out of your day, set up your 4 screens, watch all 4 films at the same time, and then tell us how everything goes.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. There's 3 movies. There's only 3 movies.
Wait, the Crystal Skull sucks?
They don't.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of that movie.
Oh no. That sucks. Because the last Crusade is so good.
The Last Crusade is fire. I'm glad they ended the trilogy on that note.
Damn.
I thought you said you only watched 2 of them.
I'm watching the Last Crusade right now.
See.
Yeah,
He's seen it before. He watched them out of order the last time or something.
But yeah, I thought the Last Crusade was the first film. I was like, I also did this with Oops, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I had that out of order. I thought the baby was first. Like, I thought the baby film, Oh, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I thought that was the first, the last film. It's like the third or the fourth.
Isn't it Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves or some shit like
Honey,
that?
I Shrunk Ourselves is number 2, right?
Yeah, Blew Up the Kid is the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
Is they shrunk the kids and they shrunk themselves. Only the first movie is really good. That first movie is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid is incredible. I've watched that a lot as a child.
I haven't seen any of those since the 90s. I can't state an opinion on those movies.
I would say there's no way that Honey, I Blew Up the Kid is a good movie in 2023.
Looks like we have a challenge, people. Looks like we have a challenge. Right?
I tell you, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a fucking classic.
Yeah, see, this is the bonus content for Patreon right here. These stupid arguments that aren't worth recording on an actual recording. We need to just side channel these. And,
I think it'd be perfect.
Them ants, that wet ass ant gave me stomach aches when I was a kid in that first movie. They're riding the ant and he's all wet. It's disturbing.
That's practical effects in that movie, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they might hold up then. Like, honestly, like the practical effects from like the 80s, early 90s, like they still kind of work. Look at Jurassic Park, dude. Jurassic Park is damn near a perfect movie still in 2023.
Oh man, Jurassic Park is so good.
Jurassic Park is fire.
I don't like any of the others though. 2, 3,
yeah, I was gonna
4.
say it's a shame they never made any sequels to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park 1 though, it's Chef's Kiss, dude.
All right. Wait, Steven Spielberg once again, Jurassic Park. This fucking guy. What type of fucking what
the
was
man,
he on?
The man was never not in his bag. He was. I don't know, man. Does Steven Spielberg has he made a bad movie? Has anyone looked to see if he has made a single bad movie?
Indians versus Cowboys or some shit like that.
He's made way too many movies.
Has he really? Was that one him?
Not too sure.
This is going to be the next check.
So yeah, that's I'm in the energy.
He probably made because he made the Superman, the 70s Superman movies. I wonder if he made Superman 3, the one where he fights like he's like fighting climate change and there's like garbage. It's a horrible movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that. He's fighting climate change.
It's like he fights like Pollution Man. It's like he fights like his own self, but it's like garbage, and I don't know.
Doesn't that kind of line up with like the super old Superman comics though? Like, isn't there one where he just like goes and fights like a businessman that's taking advantage of his employees or something like that?
Yeah, Superman is a very wacky comic book for sure. It's just.
I mean, Batman used to backhand people. He used to slap the shit out of people. Like that's pretty funny.
They had a strong backhand.
You know what I mean?
The shit out of people.
He was trained by Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Damn. Yo, Pooch, how are you enjoying Final Fantasy? Didn't get to ask you that.
I haven't been playing it that much. I started it. The game is good. It's fun. Not crazy about the side quests. The cutscenes, the combat, the story, phenomenal. But a little game, Rogue Legacy, has just taken me off the deep end. I've just been doing runs and runs every night. That's what I've been playing.
That's
so
awesome.
I've been playing my ass off in Rogue Legacy. It's good. It's a bigger game than the first game. The amount of time I already put into this, comparatively to the first game, I would have been nearing the end of my playing, but there's still game to be had. I'm not even done with my first run. Rogue Legacy, at least the first one, you beat the game, then it unlocks a new game plus, and I think it keeps going. You get plus, and everybody gets harder. You get more gold, all that kind of stuff.
The castle flips upside down. You have to go through it again.
Yeah.
Tell you what, it don't look as hard as BattleBit. I am dying in BattleBit. I can't catch it. I tried my best.
I was talking to other people, and I was telling them that y'all had started streaming that, and that it looked hard. And they were like, "Oh man," they're like, "It's so easy." And then they showed them streaming. They got like 5 kills in a row. I was like, I don't know what is breaking everyone else's brain with this game. Then.
No, yeah, that bro. Learning how to fly the helicopter mid game. Have somebody jump in there with me. They're like, "You know how to fly this?" I fucking went back to him like, "Nope." Like, I have no idea. Started going sideways. Like, I got the hang of it like a couple times, but it was just like, "Oh shit!" Oh, that's all you hear in the background. "Oh shit! No, I'm out of here." He just jumps out and goes. It's hard. I don't care anybody. So that thing is hard. I'm about to put my controller on. This mouse and keyboard ain't it. Not for that game, at least.
Yeah, I think that may be part of it, is that haven't played a shooter on mouse and keyboard in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So part of it, I just feel like rusty.
Super.
Yeah.
But not to change the topic too hard here. But going back to Spielberg, the man has hits, though. E.T.
E.T.
He's phoning home. Obviously, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Schindler's List.
Yep.
Jurassic Park. Did any of you guys watch Lincoln? Such a good movie.
With Daniel
Really?
Day-Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Jaws.
Wow.
You watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
That one's
Probably
weird.
my second or third favorite Alien movie. Such a good movie.
That one's
Really?
interesting. I haven't watched it in a while, but that song gets stuck in my head sometimes.
Not to be confused with Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind.
Oh,
It
that's
might
what
be
I'm
just
confusing
called
it with, isn't
the
it?
Fourth Kind. I don't know. The Fourth Kind came out in like the mid 2000s. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I want to say, is a 70s movie.
That's the one that ends with them playing music, right? Like they communicate with the ship using the power of music or something.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Oh, that crap.
Saving Private Ryan, Catch Me If You
Classic.
Can,
Classic.
Minority Report, War of the
Classic.
Worlds.
Classics,
Oh my
classics.
god.
All the Transformer movies.
Oh no, that is not.
Post.
That is
I'm
not.
What do you mean?
Amistad.
Transformer
I
movies.
think
are
that's
classics.
Michael Bay, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
Michael
Color
Bay.
Purple.
Oh, it is Michael Bay. I'm tripping.
Munich. You guys watch Munich? Ready Player One. The guy.
That's a fire movie.
Is Ready Player One a fire movie?
I think
heard-
they
I
need a
liked it.
part 2
And
for sure,
very
the
mixed things
bro.
about
the
it.
best Steven Spielberg movie that no one should sleep on. Okay. Before I say this, he also has The Terminal, which is a good Tom Hanks flick.
Good Tom Hanks.
Obviously, all the Jurassic Park movies, but the best Steven Spielberg movie. Okay, Hook. Not to be slept on. I love me some Hook.
Wow.
Yeah, Hook's good.
Who's in Hook?
Hook is real good.
I feel like I
Who
watched
is in
it.
Hook?
Yeah. Matt Damon's in Hook?
Yep.
Is it really though?
That would be a
no, right?
That would be a flip. That would be an
Matt Damon's not in
interesting
Hook, right?
movie.
No,
No,
it's Robin Williams.
Oh, Robin Williams.
Matt Damon might be in Hook. You never know.
I don't remember
He
the
could
movie.
be a
though.
lost boy for all we know.
I don't
I'd love
think it was
to
a different
ask.
movie.
We need to do a show where we ask Tony who's in what movies, and then we would just talk about how the movie would be like if the cast that Tony has chosen was actually the actors.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about a totally different fucking movie.
Can you imagine if Matt Damon was Peter Pan and he would just go on like random little monologues like Matt Damon tends to do in his movies?
You know
He'd
the
make-
man. You know the man that could match up with Spielberg though. James Cameron,
No.
dude.
James Cameron got like what 11 movies or something?
Terminator 2,
Yeah.
Aliens, The Abyss. We got.
Oh yeah,
True-
He
True
didn't do Alien
Lies.
1.
He didn't do Alien 1. I don't
Ridley
think.
Scott.
I think
did
that was
Alien
Ridley
1.
Scott that
Much
did
I
Alien
like
1.
Ridley Scott, fan. Fuck it.
We got True Lies.
True Lies.
We've got Rambo: First Blood Part 2. I don't think that was actually one of the good ones. Escape from New York though, classic.
Eh.
What do we got?
Oh, okay. Who's the main character from Escape from New York?
I don't fucking know. Bro, I'm talking
Exactly.
shit.
That you should be
Just talking
ashamed of
shit.
yourself.
Well, is it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, it's Kurt Russell, but the name of the character, you don't even know. That's crazy.
Snake Plissken,
He wears
dude.
an eye patch. His name is Snake. He has a mullet. Pretty sure he wears a bandana.
Titanic. Actually, he may not have as many hits as I thought. But Terminator and Terminator 2 are heavy hitters.
If you're going to say who's made a lot of money, James Cameron undeniably. I mean, with Titanic, Avatar, and Avatar 2, he's like killed the box office with those
Wait, I got one more.
movies.
This might change your mind, Booch. This might put it over the top. Point Break.
I've never seen it. I don't even remember.
Same.
Oh, you
I've
talking
seen it
about
like
Kurt
once.
Russell. Kurt fucking Russell.
Do you know who Kurt Russell is?
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now in the picture.
He was in that one movie,
Now have you seen him in the
Soldiers.
picture?
You remember like that Soldiers movie? I think it was either. I think it was. Yeah. Let me see. Oops.
Soldiers?
Snake.
The toy movie?
Toy Soldiers? Small Soldiers?
No,
What was that one called?
Kurt Russell Soldier.
Oh, the movie Soldier.
I like this movie a lot. Rotten Tomatoes gives
I've
it
never
a
seen it.
15 fucking %. I love this movie.
Yeah, it checks out why I've never seen that shit.
You've watched
I
worse
used to
movies,
love
Booch.
this movie, bro. How many words did Kurt Russell speak in Soldier? 104 words in the entire movie, despite being in 85% of the scenes.
That's amazing.
Mostly combat.
Soldier is a side equal to Blade Runner.
Maybe
What?
I'll check it out. That's interesting.
Oh, now it's interesting.
It is. It does pique my interest. It's a terrible movie. I go watch terrible movies.
It's so bad that it's good. I don't know how to like describe. You ever watch something that is just like is a train wreck, so you gotta like watch it?
I still think that we should set up a camera recording ourselves watching The Room, and we all just react while watching The Room.
Tony's going to fall asleep. Like, Tony's going to be on his phone like 10 minutes into the movie.
Tony is sickening. He would ruin actually the whole experience because Tony will sit there the whole time like, are we really gonna watch this?
The hate is
Are
on.
we
You
really
give
gonna
these
watch
guys a
this
little
the
bit of
whole time?
alcohol, and the hate just pours out of these motherfuckers.
This is iced tea, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm drinking Kool-Aid.
I've never even tasted alcohol in my life.
Anyways, for our first topic,
Hold on. Break.
and for our first topic, we're talking affirmative action. A lot of things went down and with decisions when it came in the Supreme Court with college admissions and a couple other things. And we're going to shine a little bit of light on it, talk about it, and give our viewpoints on it. It was trending big on Twitter for sure. It's where it caught my attention. Have any of you guys read into it or seen what was going on? Mateo?
Yeah.
Or Double?
Yeah, I saw this morning Twitter was blowing up and everybody was saying a lot of different things. Some stuff saying that it's now okay to discriminate against LGBTQ people. I guess when hiring, people are saying that Chick-fil-A has some shit to do with this. Chick-fil-A is dumb happy right now. I heard a lot of things. Somebody said that we need to tell the orcas about the Supreme Justice Court.
Back to the whales.
Team Orca, dude.
But I know some real fucked up shit is happening because if you could discriminate against someone because of who they are, color, if that's legally okay, I don't know where that puts us, like, as a society.
Hasn't that always been the case though?
You could make rules, right? Like no shorts, stuff like that, no shoes,
Nah,
no.
I mean, like,
no shirt, no service.
I feel like it was like 15 years ago now, or 10 years ago. There was
The
like
cake.
the baking a gay cake. The guy was like, I'm not baking a gay cake, and the court like sided with him.
Yeah, that one was upheld. And this is where we get into the problem of like, I am not smart enough to decipher some of these decisions. But from what I heard, from what I heard is you can now discriminate against, this had something to do with like a website provider or something like that. And they refused to make a website for a gay couple or something like that,
like
or
a
some
gay
such
wedding.
But it also, like, I heard that it wasn't even like a real situation that had happened. They were just suing for their right to be able to discriminate, basically. And the court sided with them because there wasn't actually anyone trying to use their service, and that they were denying that. Like it's a weird thing, is what I was reading. I don't know. I saw a tweet where they were like talking about the flip side of this, and it was this store that supposedly has a sign up that says, "We do not serve Trump supporters. Churches, we will only do business with churches that have pride flags." And they're like, and the tweet was basically saying like, well, like, if we're allowed to discriminate now, then we're going to discriminate.
That's crazy, bro.
I feel like it takes us back instead of forward. It's weird. Maybe it gives us more freedom, and I don't know. But that just, I mean, let's be for real. I would like to know, if someone doesn't want me in their establishment, then please.
I wouldn't want to eat there, yeah.
There's a lot of other establishments out there I could support. You know what I mean?
I think the argument comes down to, though, like, at least with the gay cake, it's so weird to refer to. It had something to do with like the fact that it was not a necessity, but it was like an artistic ask. Like, imagine you walked into a gas station and they're like, no gays allowed. Like, that's obviously wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if you're stranded and the only gas station in that area is like, nah, we don't want any gay people in here. It's like,
it's interesting though that people act that like being in proximity to like gay things is gonna like infect
Make
you
them
or
gay.
turn you gay or something. Like, I am so against gay people that I will not accept their money is just such a weird take for me. Like, why would you not want someone's money? You're a business. You're out here. Your goal is to get money. Get money.
Yeah, I think this shit is definitely taking a step back. Like, first it was no blacks allowed. Now it's the no gays allowed. It's just like, damn. Like, I thought we were getting better. Now it's just like, nah, fuck it. We're just gonna go off the hinge now because the black people won. Now we're gonna just take our anger out on the gays. Like, that shit. This what it sounds like a little bit. Like, we got to try to win some type of battle. And I think it's ridiculous. Like,
it's wild. It's wild to me how much the power the Supreme Court has. Like, it is so crazy. Like, we spent our entire life growing up being told that the U.S. government is perfect and it works because there's checks and balances and every branch of government holds the other branches in check and blah, and all this nonsense. And then we grow up and it's like, well, none of that's true. Like, it's like you get enough power in one branch and you can just do whatever the hell you want, apparently.
Had to listen to that stupid ass song. I'm just a bill, only a bill. All right, they lied to me, bro.
I mean, there are checks and balances. I mean, even like who we vote for determines like who ends up on the Supreme Court. Like.
Well, kind of.
Trump,
like, I mean, Trump got what three seats that he was able to fill. That is craziness. These are lifetime appointments too, man. These people are they're going to be in this position for the next like 30 or 40 years.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how progressive the rest of the country gets. It doesn't matter what the rest of the way the country is moving, because there is a trend towards more progressive ideas and more acceptance towards things that were previously like frowned upon or taboo or anything. It doesn't matter because the court can just do whatever the fuck they want to. And there's not a system for that. There's not a process in place, I don't think, to like impeach and remove a Supreme Court member. Like,
I'm not gonna lie,
but I mean, if it's a thing that people cared about, like, Congress could do it. Like there was a proposed idea where it was like, the Supreme Court justices have to serve like an 18-year term or something like that, which is still really fucking long. Or maybe it was 12, I can't remember. But it basically shook out to like, basically within every president's presidency, they'll get to pick one Supreme Court nominee. Which I think
like
is
it works.
fair,
Yeah,
right?
that seems like it works.
And then obviously the people don't have lifetime, appointments or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. And maybe in the coming years it'll be something people care about more now that the Supreme Court is more packed than in previous years.
Even with like the college thing too, like I never knew. Like I know it's difficult to get into certain colleges. I know Harvard has always been that, like so prestigious and no one can get in thing, but I never really realized like a race played a factor in that. Like they really want more white and Asian people in there than blacks and Latinos.
It's not even that, honestly. Like I think that's honestly a right-wing talking point to kind of split division between minorities, which I think is like a tactic that a lot of people use to try to split minorities and pit them against each other. But it's something like the vast majority of like Harvard, Yale, Ivy League school people that get in, they're either legacy members or their family is someone that has donated a lot of money to the school. And then of the remaining percentage, it's such a tiny percentage of like people of color, black people that get in. That was what it was intended to do. The way that the court apparently interpreted the law or the previous precedent is that the United States government shouldn't make laws that are based in race because that itself is racism. So that's why affirmative action needs to get removed, and which is wacky. It's like pretending like we've already solved racism, so we can't make laws protecting certain races, or that becomes racism itself. But it's like, as any minority in the United States can tell you, racism's not solved. The systems that hold us down haven't gone anywhere.
That's wild. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean the law is racist though, right? Like even if it's like maybe not, it's like positively prejudiced towards.
I would say it's racially based, but I wouldn't say it's racist.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how people view it as. It's like if you're making decisions based on somebody's race, you're putting some people up and you're putting some people down is like the view. I am okay with racist laws as long as they make sense. So like. And I'm just using their verbiage, right? I don't think we should actually have racist laws. But like as an example, if for how many years of Jim Crow existed, right, where people of color weren't allowed to go to certain schools and they weren't allowed to go to a college and stuff like that, and they needed to come up with black, historically black colleges are just colleges for black people back in the day because they couldn't go to the white schools. Mm-hmm. The fact that occurred based on their race, the day they ended Jim Crow, is not like we've righted all our wrongs. Like, sure, we've corrected course, but there's already a lot of error that occurred. How do we correct for that? And it's like, to me, it makes sense that a lot of people have this view that affirmative action shouldn't be race-based. It should be class-based. So you should help all the poor people, which sounds noble. I'm cool with that. We should help poor people in general. White poor people, black poor people, Hispanic, everybody who's poor should be helped, right? I'm not discounting that. It's just that you're ignoring the fact that black people were targeted for so many years, and then just when you end that, it's like, oh, let's just help all the poor people now. It's like you're not really correcting the black problem. You're correcting a different problem. and it may help a lot of black people, maybe like, you know, predominant black people, but it's not gonna, you're not addressing the people like directly that were harmed by something. So that's why I feel like a law that targets race, like affirmative action, I think is fine. I think there are arguments like, how long should affirmative action be in place for, right? Like, because all things being equal, it shouldn't be around, right? Like, at some point in the future.
Assuming we were all starting at the same, same level of advantage, or not even advantage, but we were all starting at the same level of having no disadvantage or something, right? Like something along those lines. I don't know the exact.
Right, that's what I'm saying. All things being equal, like everybody starts same money, same educational opportunities, and all that kind of stuff. We shouldn't have.
We say equal, but nothing's equal in America, right?
No, but that's what I'm saying. If everything was equal, then we shouldn't have affirmative action, right?
But we live in a real world that has inequality and has discrimination and systemic issues and things like that. So it makes sense to have laws that are safety nets, almost like equalizers.
Yeah, but I would say in some aspects, like, being equal has its advantages, but I think at the same time, like, I don't know, I'm torn. Like, I don't want to seem like a dick, but some people maybe don't need the help. Maybe in a way, like I think how should I word this? People will get the help and just shit on it, pretty much. Like, so
what does that mean?
Like, for example, they help us, like, doesn't matter, poor, rich, or middle class, whatever, right? But some people would get the help, and I just think they would not take advantage of it. I think it'll be a waste. Like,
but what they do with it, why is it of your importance? What they actually do with the money? Why is it important to you?
Maybe give it to somebody else who, like, does want to go to college, or, you know, do, like, I don't know. Like, I just think maybe it could be spent in a different way.
But affirmative action, though, doesn't have anything to do with, like, money, though, right? Like, it just sets, like, standards for, like, with the diversity that is forced into, like, college campuses and things like that.
Well, I mean, it takes money to send someone to college, right? Someone's going to pay for it.
It's just affirmative action. Yeah, it doesn't entail people paying for college. The government isn't paying these people for these people to go to school. It's like, in fact, the government gives money to Harvard and stuff and these schools so that they could target people that are basically
less fortunate,
so they could hit their, like, diversity goals. Much.
Yeah.
So they'll accept some number of black people to hit, like, a quota, so to speak.
But they don't look like they're racist.
Those people are on the hook for figuring out how they're going to pay for their college. Like everybody else, they need scholarships, they need loans, grants, all that kind of jazz. The government ain't, not in relation to affirmative action. The government is paying. Like, when I went to college, right, I was poor enough that I got financial aid, right? So I got free money from the government to go to school for a period of time. And then later they stopped giving me free money, but I got subsidized loans, I got college loans, but while I was in school, the government was paying for all the interest. So it wasn't like accumulating money. At the end, I only had to pay what I borrowed and not any interest, you know?
Yep.
But doesn't that, in a way, that's almost racist in a way too? Like, oh, we only got to pick these people because of our quota needs to be met. Like even saying that just seems like, damn, do you really want to go to a college that only wants to hit quotas for certain races? Like, I think that shit's kind of fucked up.
I mean, if you're going to, like, Harvard or Yale or something, you're going specifically for the name of the college. You're going to an Ivy League school for the networking opportunities. Like, there's other reasons to try to get into.
Oh no, yeah, you go to Harvard, there's a lot of doors that are going to open for you, but it's just
this tends to be focused a lot on specifically, like, the Ivy League schools and things like that because of their racial disparity. But I mean, you look at, like, I was looking at, like, a study about, like, Georgia, like the University of Georgia. The state is something like 20-30% black people, the college itself is like 3%, 5% or something like that. Like there is some kind of failure going on there that it doesn't look more in line with the actual racial diversity of the state.
I agree.
I don't know. Could it be like a money aspect though? You would think.
I'm sure there's a lot of factors to it, but one of the factors for sure is that there has been a tendency to prioritize people with Anglo-sounding last names, and like I mean that's the facts of the system. I mean, you look at like
So
Harvard
fun.
and Ivy League schools. You get into those schools because you have money, or because you know someone that went there, or you have family members that went there, right? Like that's the best way to get your foot in the door in those schools.
Private colleges is what it all sounds like, pretty much. Like only this certain group of people can come. Like college should, honestly, they should just make college where it's blanket. Like fuck all this fucking. Oh, you know somebody, you alumni, all this. I put money into it. Nah, bro. You have the grades. If you do have the financial to go, I'm pretty sure Harvard's probably maybe one of the most expensive colleges. I mean,
It's an Ivy League school. There's several of them that are expensive.
Yeah, Harvard is pricey as hell for sure.
Yeah,
though.
I would assume Harvard is freaking crazy. Side note, you think anybody could just walk on a Harvard campus just like any other regular college?
No.
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know if it's like a gated community or something. That's what I associate with like rich people.
With the rich
so like,
class.
but I don't know if that's actually what the school's like.
Because I know
Somebody's checking
I would
ID.
think anybody could walk onto Harvard.
I
You
might
think so?
take a trip to
I've
Harvard
been
one
to
day.
a couple different universities. There's no like a gate and then a security at the front. Like
You could
I've
check it.
never seen something like that.
I wandered around Rice University one time and just found like because I was touring the school, but I left the tour at some point and I just found like an empty studio with like a big like piano in it and just messed around with the piano for a little bit.
'Cause I would like to maybe do like a social experiment, right? Just go to one of these Ivy League school and just sit on a class as it's starting. Like, do
I
they
think
take
you can-
roll?
I think you can audit classes, honestly, but I don't know exactly how that process works. But I don't know if you could do it at Harvard. I would assume you probably could.
I know, like I went to both colleges I went to, and I went to a little ass rinky dink community college, and then I went to UCF, which is one of the bigger universities in the country. And at PBCC, or I guess now it's a Palm Beach State College, there, you'll probably get noticed because the classes were so small. It was like high school. You walk into a 30-person room, it's like, who the hell are you? It's been 3 weeks. We don't know who you
Never
are. You know what I
seen you
mean? Like
before.
you just pop up. But like at UCF, I had classes where there were 400 people sitting in there. And I would go to classes I would sit in classes with my wife. I'd go to my wife's class and just sit there and be on the laptop because I didn't have class that period or something. So like a lot of students just sit in classrooms. And imagine Lake Worth High with no gates. You could just walk in from anywhere. That's how a lot of universities are. It's just like a bunch of buildings in like a block. It's
Yeah, I
like
think I
there's
went
no-
to UCF with you one time or for something, I think. And you guys had your own like little like downtown area pizza joint and like a Starbucks or something. It was like a whole crazy little island in the freaking school. I thought it was awesome. Looks confusing as shit though. Like as a freshman or somebody going in first year, I can see how you can get lost like that. Like that shit looks crazy to me. Got off topic here, but yeah, no, I don't know what's the cleaning the slate and having colleges or Ivy Leagues just open for educational and financial. Of course, you got to have the money. Yeah, it shouldn't matter skin or color, bro. I don't know. We're just gonna be always stuck in this way.
Yeah, it's complicated because it's like I feel like personally, instead of I don't know how much resources it takes to do affirmative action and stuff like that. So I'm ignorant to that. But I feel like our efforts should be more in fixing the systemic problems that we have. Like, why is it that a lot of minorities are not going to college and not having that much success in college? Like, I don't think it's all because of their race. Like, I feel like we don't live in the best areas. We don't get the best education. We don't have a lot of the social safety nets that if we fail at things, we could try multiple times. Like all those things, I feel like if we address all those things, the need to help people get into universities diminishes, you know?
For sure. Yeah, because I mean, like, everything else is a Band-Aid if you don't address, like, the actual systemic issues, right? But the problem is you get a lot of talking points from a lot of the loudest people on the right that say that the only way to fix racism is to stop focusing on race. And it's like, that doesn't work. That feels like it feels like such a disingenuous response to give. It's like, oh, well, you're only worried about race because you're actually racist. It's like, no, it's because there's issues that need fixing. We would love to live in a world where we don't have to worry about race and try to discern things.
I don't know. It feels like the Florida thing all over again, and it's weird. It feels like
what's the Florida thing?
I think LGBTQ, some like you can discriminate against them now. They're very worried.
I don't think you could discriminate. Like, there's like the DeSantis is like "Don't Say Gay" bill or whatever, which is like specifically it's a school bill for like the faculty talking about LGBTQ issues at school is like not allowed. Which is, I mean, and you know that there's a wide array of opinions about that. Like, I feel like it's fine for the most part, but I could see there being problematic issues. Like, there's some schools that are like, and I mean, I get it too, but there's some schools that are like, oh, if like they won't notify a parent if like a kid is going through like certain things at school in particular. So like, for example, if my kid was like trans only at school and I didn't know about it at all, the faculty aren't going to tell me, but they would like comply and go through with, you know, treating the child the way that the child wishes to be treated. Shit like that. Like, if I found out that shit, I would be fucking livid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should tell me. But I also understand that there's probably some people that have families that would completely, you know, beat the shit out of their kids or disown their kids if they found out they were gay or something like that.
There's probably a reason those kids aren't talking to their parents and telling them what they're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids are fucking stupid too, though. Like, I don't know if you've ever been around kids. They're really dumb.
I don't know that the adults are any better, dude. I've been around quite a bit of adults.
Sure.
I don't know how true it is, but someone was saying that there was another bill or some law or something with the affirmative action that when it comes to like public restrooms, whether you identify as man, woman, or whatever, or transition. This is what this.
I think whatever you're saying is not a real thing. I've heard almost nothing about this.
Yeah, no, they're just saying like bathrooms are only for gender, like what your gender was or whatever. That was a whole big thing. People were talking.
I don't think they made any rulings regarding that. That I've read.
It sounded crazy to me. I was like, no, there's no way this is true. This is some bullshit that just got made up. I was just like, I asked when it just came up. I was like, let me ask them. But yeah, because nowadays it's like with all these rules and shit just being put into action. I don't know. Some of this shit's surprising.
You're tapped into a weird rotation. Like you're like how I'm in Black Twitter. The thing that you're in, you always be hitting us with these zingers.
This ain't nothing on social media. This is people who actually were talking about this because people were talking about the affirmative action shit, and someone mentioned that. I was like, I've never heard of that. Like, I don't know about that.
I don't think that was.
I know back in April, Florida passed some like anti-trans bathroom bill.
Yeah.
But that was months ago.
It's like special. It's like they're like number one on hate. It's Florida. You got.
Which I guess I'll take some of my previous statement back. It's like, yeah, sure, that's like a form of discrimination.
For our next topic, is being a billionaire ethical? We had a conversation on Discord and our Discord page. If you haven't known, we have a Discord channel. Go there. We can chat it up with all of us.
Check that out.
It's in the description.
It's called the One Up.
I take a hot pic every day for everyone. Yeah.
I haven't seen that happen yet.
Neither have I.
Those hot pictures are as real as Jesus been going to the gym.
Damn. And we're talking about Eat the Rich, man. Pretty much like being a billionaire, like should they have any moral, should they just try to help out the community more, pretty much? Pucho and our good friend and friend of the pod, Adam, going back and forth, and it was a very interesting conversation to read. And Pucho, shine a little bit of light on the back and forth between you and Adam and the different points.
Yeah, so there's a group of people that feel like being a billionaire makes you inherently evil because nobody should have that amount of wealth, and there's so much more uses that other people could do with that money. Most of the people that feel that way are like communists and socialists, right? So there's also the added like they're evil because they exploited people to get there to that amount of money.
I agree with that heavily. I don't think that it is possible to become a billionaire without having some exploitation factor into it, unless you're just straight inheriting billions or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends how you define exploitation. Like, but yeah. So there's people that feel that way. There are people that feel like billionaires should do more, like they should give a lot of their money away and stuff like that. And then there are people that feel like, no, being a billionaire is totally fine. They worked hard to make their money and they made their money and they should enjoy it. And or there's other people that feel like there should be laws that make it harder to be a billionaire or impossible to be a billionaire, and the laws will force the redistribution of wealth and it not rely on the goodwill of people. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought taxes were for, but apparently no.
Apparently, if you have enough money and you know the tax code well enough, you can pay as little taxes as you can get away with.
Yeah.
There was another one you guys said too, Pooch, that that the wealth should be evenly spread amongst all social or financial classes.
Well, there's like the different takes on that, right? Because there are like communist and people that have more socialist leanings that do believe that the wealth should be redistributed equally and things of that nature, right? Like there are schools that thought like that, but in general, the wealth should just be redistributed to society at large. Not necessarily everyone gets a check from this billionaire's bank account or something, but like it's an insane amount of money. Did y'all click that link that I sent you that was basically like giving a graphical representation of what the actual richest people in the world's wealth looks like? It's insane. It's a mind-breaking, even $1 billion is a mind-breaking amount of money. Like, it's so crazy to see it like actually visualized like that.
And it's crazy how they would value their billions versus like the millionaires and then the rest of the world. Like, that's why they said the true 1%ers, because those are the ones who can literally, like, I don't even know. It's still crazy to be like, I can't fathom just buy the $100 million thing like if it was a fucking #1 on Burger King. Like, that blows my mind. That's a lot of fucking money. Filthy rich. That's what that is. That's filthy rich. But yeah, I don't think, wouldn't that affect the value of the money though, of the dollar? Like if we just spread it all evenly? Like, I
mean, no, because if like the Treasury Department decided tomorrow to print up an extra like $3 trillion or something and spread that amongst the population, yeah, that would devalue the dollar. That's where the idea of like inflation and things like that come from. Your dollar is losing value, but it's existing money in the system. So no, like it would not cause like crazy inflation. What it might cause is some supply and demand weirdness where people are buying a bunch of stuff because they have money. Like if we did like just a redistribution of wealth. But like Adam was talking about some of like the historical stuff. He brought up Caesar. Like one of the Caesars, like he canceled all debt. Like there is there's steps that have been taken historically whenever there is this amount of wealth held by this tiny percentage of the population to kind of reset things a little bit more, to normalize things a little bit more.
Man, I wish.
And there's also guillotines and gallows that have been, used previously whenever there's been huge amounts of, inequality.
So
yeah,
you're on the side of that the billionaires should do more for the community, or are you more on the side of making it harder for them to be a billionaire?
Both, honestly, because even if we passed a law tomorrow that made it harder to become a billionaire because of some kind of super complex tax plan that closes loopholes and taxes people properly and blah, 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 right? Even if you did that tomorrow, like, you're not fixing the problem of billionaires today that are just hoarding wealth. Like, that inequality is built in. Honestly, it's going to get worse because the people that already are billionaires and sitting on that amount of money, if you make it harder for other people to get to that level, the gap gets bigger.
The gap, yeah, you only made the gap bigger.
So you're going to have to break down their wealth, then hit them with that, make it harder.
I don't know. It's a complicated thing. I do know that I don't think that it is possible to be an ethical billionaire. I don't know what the solution to it is. I think that there's probably some kind of tax rewrite that has to happen, some kind of tax code that needs to be redone. I think it's crazy that the Supreme Court shot down this student loan relief thing that is a step towards relieving some of the economic disparity in the country.
Because
do you know why they shut that down? I didn't read the decision, like what the rationale was behind saying
I read it and it doesn't make any sense. It has to do with the HEROES Act that was passed that gives power to gives the Department of Education power to mess with loans and things like that whenever there is a national emergency that could cause financial distress. And their reasoning is that the COVID-19 pandemic didn't meet the criteria for what this act actually covers. That's the interpretation that I got. But that's crazy to me because the COVID pandemic definitely had a financial impact on people. People were losing their jobs and unable to work and things like that. I don't know. Like their reasoning made no sense to me. But I'm also not a law person. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not even an expert in bird law. So I have no idea.
I'm all for student loan forgiveness or whatever, but there were, at least during the pandemic, there were for large periods of time, no one had to pay their student loans. Like, like it wasn't forgiven, but the repay, like, no one was forced to make payments during that period of time. So like, I feel like at least that's like one way they like addressed the pandemic or whatever. But yeah, getting back to the eat the rich thing, I personally don't believe that being a billionaire in and of itself is inherently evil. I feel like we have rules in society. Society is set up in a way. And I feel like if people go out and get their money and do business decisions and all this stuff within accordance of the law, I mean, I think it's fine. I feel like the law should be different, right? I just don't think that someone is a bad person for playing the rules of playing the game, like, you know, starting a business or whatever the hell they need to do to become a billionaire. Like, I don't think Oprah or Jay-Z is inherently evil for being billionaires, or Kanye West. Like, he's a piece of shit for a lot of reasons. I don't think being a billionaire is the reason he's a piece of shit. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm stuck in the middle too. Like, if I become a millionaire and then all of a sudden get this crazy deal and whatever business that I have makes me a billionaire, it doesn't make me evil. Like, maybe I should find a way. I think I would help the community out too. Maybe give a little bit more to maybe build up better schools or like some type of thing for the homeless, or try to figure out something to help out. Because I mean, $1 billion is a lot. Like, so, but I don't think I would be an evil guy. Like, you know what I mean? That's why it was kind of hard. Like, I know. Go ahead, Mateo. Sorry.
I think of it like the Good Samaritan thing, right? Like the Like, do we have an obligation in society to help other people? And I think that you do. Like, I think that you do. Obviously, it changes depending on your means, right? Like, I could scroll Twitter right now, and I could give to some amount of like assistance funds and things that I see pop up. I could donate to people's GoFundMe's, but I've got a finite amount of money that I could use to do that. But you're talking a billionaire where they could scroll for several days straight, just people tossing money into people's GoFundMe's, and they wouldn't even scratch the surface. It's what we were talking about in like the chat. Like $1 million is a lot of money. $1 million is a life-changing amount of money for a single person and maybe some of their friends and family around them. Like becoming a millionaire. Becoming a billionaire, though, you could change society. You can change the world if you actually decided to give back. And I do think that it is hard to become a billionaire without exploitation of someone, whether it's your workers at Amazon that are having to like piss in bottles and work barely above minimum wage and face all kinds of hardships, and you're sitting there on your mega yacht. Like, I think that there's some level of exploitation there. You talk about like Jay-Z and things like that, like fashion designers. Where are those clothes being made? Are they being made like in Malaysia or something? They're paying children quarters to put together these shoes they're going to sell for $500 to $1,000. Well, because I would guess that there's some amount of exploitation built into that business, into that business as well. It's rife in like the fashion industry, right? Like,
yeah, that's really not their fault that where they're in Malaysia that it's not expensive though.
It is because they're purposely choosing that location to build their shoes. They could still choose that location. They could pay them a fair wage. Like maybe they are paying them a fair wage comparatively. Like they're making 30 cents an hour compared to 15 cents an hour, but they're still living in poverty. Like there's still exploitation happening there.
Yeah. I remember there was a whole thing with Trump with his tie collection that he had. He had some type of tie thing and it was outside of the country. And it was like some weird thing, trying to bring it to Mexico, some stupid shit. And it was talking about exporting, those other countries for cheaper work, which, a lot of, it still kind of happens to this day with a lot of major companies, but it's just like, if that class of, or the status of that country or wherever they're doing it from is like, obviously lower than ours, like, could you really, really honestly say like, nah, we're treating them like pieces of shit by giving them this amount because that's what their living standard is, just equally? Like
I would say yes. Like I don't know if you're purposely choosing to go and take advantage of low labor costs in another country. It feels like exploitation to me. It feels like new age colonialism is what it feels like.
Actually, they should get paid American wages, you think?
I don't know. Like maybe you do pay them American wages. Maybe you do pay them more than you could get it cheaper, but why? Like why would you want to take advantage of other people like that? And I get the reason why. It's because you're a capitalist. You're trying to make as much capital as possible, right? Like that's the name of the game.
I would say you're helping them out by giving them jobs.
You could argue that.
How far do you take that type of mentality though? Like, are you exploiting anybody for shopping around for the cheapest like purchase you can make? Like you're going around the grocery store trying to find the best price for eggs, the best oh no, this steak, like this brand, I'm gonna buy the Walmart peanut butter because that one's cheaper. Like we're all participating in the exploitation, right? Like
for sure,
like by that like definition, I guess. But.
Yeah, I mean for sure. Like y'all ever see The Good Place? Because they talk about some aspect of this. They're like basically like they determine in. These are spoilers for a show that is off the air, so don't come after me in the comments. They determine in The Good Place that no one actually gets into the good place because society's become so complicated now that any decision you make, there is some aspect of it that is probably immoral or unethical. Like you buy tomatoes at the store, it's an undocumented worker that's being abused that picked those tomatoes. So boom, that's a bad act on you. You commit. You're not a good person because you bought those tomatoes. Like it gets tougher with things like that. But when you're the one in charge that's actually making a decision to go to this country specifically because their rate of pay is so low, it takes out some of the muddiness of these decisions that are hard to avoid,
No, for sure, for sure. I'm not trying to. I'm not equating them. I'm just saying there's an analog of like, if I like us on this podcast, right? Well, anytime we're always shopping for the cheapest way to achieve whatever goal we're trying to achieve. Like, if we were gonna hire someone to do work, like we're gonna try to hire the cheapest person we could get that could get the job done. Like, I'm fine. I think that's fine, but like I know there are people that would say that is that's exploiting somebody.
Yeah, because we're trying to find the cheap for the same amount of work. So that's why it's
I will say in my business life, I do a lot of the vendor agreements and things like that, and there are companies that are cheaper that I won't go with just because I don't like their product. I don't like the way that I've worked with their sales team. I'd like, there's personal preferences built into things, right? And it's the same thing. Like, if we were hiring someone, I don't think it would necessarily be the cheapest. It would be, how do we meet quality and whatever our budget is, right? But if you're talking about someone that's a billionaire, like, your budget is almost non-existent. You're not going to spend all the money that you have. I don't know. It feels like there's a certain point where it's like, okay, you're making $100 million a year, and that's not enough money to be making a year. You need to kick up the exploitation, keep finding cheaper and cheaper ways to produce whatever you're producing. Something about that feels wrong. It's like those kids during Halloween that, there's the bowl. And you knock on the door and they're like, okay, take a few candies, and they take the entire bowl. Something about that feels wrong. Take your part. Leave some for everyone else.
That doesn't feel wrong. Those people are evil. That shit is clearly evil. That's a fucking crime against humanity. Those
you didn't see the white kid that flipped them off?
like, it's crazy because like I just Googled like, major companies that have like manufacturers outside of the U.S. Nike has a lot of factories over there in Vietnam.
Everybody,
like, it's everybody. Everyone. So it's like, what are we gonna do, right? Like, are we gonna tell them, hey, stop, shut it down, and build them here in the USA, and then what? The prices of everything's gonna go up. They're gonna lose money. It sucks, right? I agree with you. It does kind of sucks. They are, but at the same time, it's like we all will start a business to make money. So if you use a little bit of, leverage or exploiting other people to make that money, I don't think you're necessarily bad. You just maybe look like a piece of shit.
I don't know. In our nowhere near billionaire world, my lights just turned off on me.
Oh, you didn't pay your bills because you ain't a billionaire.
But in our very not billionaire world here, like if we were to hire on like an editor, are y'all telling me that we would be fine with paying them minimum wage? You're like, that's cool. We'll pay you minimum wage to do editing on our videos.
If we're billionaires, no.
I wouldn't, but but there is a balance, right? Mm-hmm. There's a range that I think is an acceptable amount of money to make, and I would want to pay them the bottom of that range. Like, right? The least amount I got to pay somebody that I still feel like, okay, they're getting
compensated
paid. They're getting compensated in a fair way. Like, sure, I personally don't want to exploit anybody. But we do, right? Like, in complicated fashion, right? Like the purchases we make and the things we do. There are people in this country that are so against exploitation that they only buy things that were made in ethical, they buy only from companies that source things in an ethical way and things like that. And it's like, I don't care enough about that to live my life like that. But
how do you guys feel about like mega churches and shit like that? You feel like
tax the hell out of them. Tax the hell out of them. Churches should not be exempt from taxes. We should tax churches. A church shouldn't have a private jet.
I don't know enough about why churches are tax exempt and things like that. Like, it feels like they should be taxed, But yeah, I don't know enough. Seeing people like the megachurch guy have like a mansion and 12 cars and a private jet and stuff like that, it feels not right. Like from the perspective of like your job is to be like taking money to spread the word of God and stuff like that. It just feels a little greedy to be, using all that money to like increase the quality of your life. But
it almost feels like I did the wrong job. Like I picked the wrong job. Like I should have went into the church.
We should have went to the mega church.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. The eat the rich thing though, like I was saying, like a lot of it just feels very like childish to me. Like I feel like there's a lot of like part of the conversation, like Adam made a statement that I found just like completely absurd, where he said like having an opinion on politics or like the economy is never childish. And again, maybe we got different definitions of childish, but like I find people that have such a shallow understanding of things that they just like, for example, me some number of years ago, right? When I was in college, I was like I wanted Ron Paul. I was like, end the Federal Reserve. All this bullshit is like, those are childish opinions. I didn't understand anything that I was saying. I was just spouting shit that other people were saying, like. That I don't know, the idea that just by virtue of having those opinions, those are not that just feels like a bizarre statement to me. But
The tweak that I would make to it is that I agree with the statement in and of itself, but I also think that you can have a very ignorant position. Like that would be the qualifier. Like, sure, your position's not childish, because the only childish opinion I think when it comes to things like that is just apathy. I think apathy is the truly childish opinion to have on things that literally affect your everyday life. But you can have a non-childish, ignorant opinion. Like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. About the eat the rich thing though, it just feels like, I feel like there's so many groups of people that have rallied to make change in the country. Like, I feel like any issue is on the table for, like, if people really care about this, go get the people, raise the money, go, call your congressmen, your senators, all that stuff. Try to, like, find people that could figure out what bills could help these types of things. Like try to make actual change. But it just feels like, when you're scrolling Twitter, it just feels like everybody's just angry, and they don't care about anything. They just want to express that. And it's like, that's fine to express your anger, I guess. But I don't know. It just doesn't, I can't sit there and be like, yeah, let's just kill all the billionaires. Like I just don't. That doesn't feel right to me. But
I'm not at that point yet. Like, I don't think we need to be out building guillotines or anything like that, because it feels, honestly, just given my my 30 some odd years experience, it feels like we've never really given it a try to change it within the system. Look at how many people in this country don't vote. Look at how many people, how many elections are lost by fractions. And then you look at the percentage, and it's like, oh, well, 80% of people 20 to 28 didn't vote in this election. It's like, you can't skip to let's build guillotines and burn down their mansions if you didn't try to work inside the system first.
And I bet you like 80% of the eat the rich or go to the guillotine people are in that exact age range. I think they're all the young people. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like the other side of like, it just feels like the young thing for now. Like when I was in college, it was the Ron Paul, the Federal Reserve, the anti-war, all that kind of shit because of the Bush era. Like those are the types of the things, and I just feel like this new like socialist, lefty kind of like anti-capitalism thing is like the new. It's like the hip thing for all the college kids or something. I don't know.
There's people saying it's mostly jokes and shit talking, but I think there's a little bit of truth behind it that the younger generation or whatever who say that is like the kids who don't really want to work hard to get where they need to get to. I guess like being handouts. They're like that's a lot of things now. Like a lot of the young kids that come apply for certain jobs, they'll be like, no, I deserve to get paid this because of this, but I don't have any experience. It's like kind of have to start at the bottom to like get to the top, and a lot of people are saying that that's just the mindset of the younger generation right now.
I haven't seen a lot of that, but that feels like boomer talk to me, is what that feels like. That feels like what every older generation says about the younger generation once they reach some certain age. Actually, funny enough, I was seeing that like apparently millennials are like one of the first generations to buck the trend of becoming more conservative as you get older. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I've gotten more progressive as I've gotten older. I have a lot of. There are probably plenty of topics that, I mean, the people online would say that I'm a Nazi probably, but there's plenty of topics that I have more conservative views on. But yeah, I've definitely gotten more progressive as I've gotten older. Yeah, I don't know. I personally advocate for like trying to change things. Like I feel like we have a system as broken as it is. It's the system we got, and B, it's better than a lot of other systems out there. So it's just like we should really focus our efforts on figuring out what we could do to try to like better the situation. Like you said, we haven't really tried to deal with the billionaire issue. And like, I don't know, is the billionaire issue like a new issue? Like obviously wealth inequality has always been a problem, but like in the last like 40 years, that wealth inequality has like it's skyrocketed. It's gotten super crazy.
Yeah, it's gotten significantly bigger. Yeah, it's definitely a new issue. I mean, we're pretty deep into capitalism at this point, right? So like late stage capitalism builds inequality. That's why things like debt relief for middle class and lower class citizens is usually seen as a good use or a good thing to push for in capitalism. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. For our next topic, we are talking about snitching. We had to snitch. Where do we do it? Snitching become almost not a norm, but okay thing to do. Versus when I was growing up, snitching gets you stitches and stuff like that. Or snitching, what was it? Snitches get you stitches or something like that?
Snitching gets you stitching.
Snitches get you stitches.
I'll be botching that shit.
No, snitches get stitches. That's what they get.
Or a chainsaw.
Or yeah. So this is coming from watching. Tony Montana watched his friend get butchered in the movie. Chainsaw the hell up, like Amateo said it, and he didn't give up any info on this man at all. It's Doughboy said that he would give up his friend easily, no questions asked.
I'd give him a. Yeah, I'd see a chainsaw and I'd scream like a little girl. And
Joey said the second they touched his shoulder, he's giving up everything.
Oh, they're right over there.
That's crazy.
Nah, it would take a little bit more than that. Are you gonna have to beat me up? But once you pull the chainsaw out, I got a pretty face. I can't hurt this face.
So I guess the real thing is like a Pucho fashion, right? What limit are you not gonna hold your tongue? At some point, there's gonna be a breaking point for you to snitch, right?
What if we all robbed the bank?
Yeah. What is Joey? What is the cutoff for when you would snitch?
I guess I'm low tolerance pain. So I'm just a very, I guess that would be the first person you'd pick if you wanted information.
See, for me, we've had some of this conversation where I was like, I am not a criminal, all right? I'm not beholden by the rules of like, oh, not snitching. Like, fuck that. Like, I got a family, I got a wife, I got 2 kids. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure that they're right.
Facts.
So now, given the circumstances, right? Like, if some cops come asking me questions about people, I'm not saying anything. If I've committed a crime with a person and the cops are trying to get me to reveal information about this person, it's complicated because I'm not a criminal, all right? So it's hard for me to put myself in these shoes. But like, if I made the decision to be a criminal, I feel like I would.
Got to eat that.
I would eat the charge. Like, I wouldn't like implicate people. But if we're talking about like some like rival gang has you and they're like on the like torturing you for information, this is a very different circumstance. Again, I'm gonna do what's best for my family, and not getting chopped to bits is probably what's best for them.
Yeah, I'm sort of similar in that aspect. If we did the crime together, gotta eat that. I mean, of course, it depends. Like, what are we saying here? Like, you ask me for a ride, and I take you somewhere, and you end up clapping somebody. I have no idea. It's like, yo, you just asked me for a ride, bro. Like I didn't know what the fuck he was gonna do. I wasn't even in the building. You know.
Do y'all think that's happened with an Uber driver? Has Uber been used to be the getaway vehicle in crimes?
Has to.
Guaranteed. It's happened.
What do you do
I've
as the
read
Uber
stories
driver?
There's people were transporting drugs with Uber drivers.
Really?
That's happened.
That's
Ubers have gotten pulled over and searched to get the drugs from like one of their passengers and shit. So yeah, there's people that are like, I ain't bringing these drugs in my car, but I'm gonna hit the Uber up. So yeah, for sure it's happened. Yeah, if I was like, yo, Tone, haven't seen you in a long time, and I give you a ride, and then you're fucking gun loving, trigger happy ass shoot somebody, I'm calling the cops. I will get you out of my car. I will call like a hell yeah.
Just kick me out of your car. Why are you gonna call the cops?
In Florida, bro, because in Florida, actually in a lot of states, oh my god, what's the law?
Accessory or something?
No, I forget what the law is called, but it's like you could rope anybody into a federal crime.
Guilty by association, the RICO charges?
It's not RICO. Nah, RICO's like for big things. But it could be like 7 people, and just having a conversation with somebody and knowing that the crime was gonna occur, they could rope you in and say that you were part of the people that planned the thing.
Oh my god.
There are people. Look at who's the rapper? He had a Rockefeller chain. No, he had a Diplomat's chain and everything. He had the perm.
You're talking about
something B. Max B.
Max
B got a murder charge. He never murdered anybody. Like he spoke with people and he helped these people plan a robbery. The robbery went south. These people ended up murdering somebody. He was in a whole different state and he got hit with the murder charge. You know what I'm saying? And obviously the ties are more direct. Like, he helped plan a robbery that led to a murder. But like, even the girl, there was a girl that was dating one of the guys that was like, yo, those dudes got mad bread. Murder charge. You know what I mean? Because she's like part of the people that helped set the whole thing up. So it's like any ties, like somebody hops in your car, gets caught with drugs, the whole whip is getting dragged into stuff. So it's like, hell yeah, I'm kicking Tony out. I'm calling the cops. And I'll be cagey with information. I'll be like, man, I was cool with this kid in high school. Like, I saw him. I gave him a ride. He did some crazy shit. I got nothing to do with it. I'm trying
Let
to
me find out he's going to kick me out the car with all the cocaine in my duffel bag. I'm cutting that shit up and blowing it in his face. Like, now we both going down.
No. In this situation, if you're a friend of someone, let's say the situation, like, I give one of y'all a ride. Y'all didn't tell me that y'all were transporting coke, and we get pulled over. If you were actually my friend, you should be the one fessing up to the cops and be like, look, he had nothing to do with this. This was all these were all my drugs. If you put me in a situation if you put me in a situation I have to snitch on you, I will snitch on you in that situation 100%. I'm not going to go to jail because you didn't tell me you were bringing kilos of cocaine into my car to transport.
Is it going to be your first offense?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I'm not going down.
You see me, bro? I'm not
have a
gonna
more
last
extreme
a
view.
minute in fucking county.
Thinking those not lasting a minute.
At least your mud butt would deter.
What deter?
Rapist is not funny, okay?
Everything's funny. I see. I have a harsher view than Mateo. If you're my friend and you hopped into my car with keys of coke, and you got us arrested for this, you're no friend of mine.
Yeah.
Just straight like that. How'd you not tell me you were doing some bullshit in my car? I would tell you no. Get the fuck out. You're not like you're like someone that didn't say that. They knew they didn't say it because they knew what the other person would feel about it. Mm-hmm. That ain't no friend. That's sneaky shit.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. That you should definitely let the person know, like, yo, like I got this in the car. I'm about to just go drop it off. You taking a ride with me, and then we head out to go get some liquor. You'd be like, nah, but I bet I'll be back later. That's the most honest thing to do.
But on the flip side, that rival gang comes up with that chainsaw. I might not snitch, not because of any kind of honor code or anything like that, but just because there's no incentive for them to not still chainsaw me after I give up the information.
Yeah.
They can still kill you.
Sheesh.
They should. Like, I saw their face. They threatened me with a chainsaw. Like, yeah.
You're going to take their word? No, we won't kill you. Just tell us what you think. Yeah, go fuck your mother. Just go ahead and do what you got to do. You're going to kill me regardless. Now the twitch is they bring your family involved. Like, got this person. Now you kind of have to snitch.
No, that's fine. I'm dead. I got no worries anymore. It's all blank. Nothing after I'm dead.
They got you roped up. They'll be like, yo, we got your mom and your dad and your cousin. Gun to the head. You got to tell us where he at. They both dead. You're going to be like, nah, you're going to kill him anyways. Fuck it.
Nah, we're all screwed anyway.
I said, start with the sister first. I did not like her the most.
Fucking crazy. Nah, snitching is I mean, a lot of people gave 6ix9ine a lot of flack for that, right? Like a rat, he's all this. He pled his case saying,
well, we're the hip hop world. When you're entering like the hip hop world, it's like mafiosos and shit like that. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're a rat."
This is the limit. Like if you did the crime with somebody, bro, just keep your mouth quiet. Most of the time, you'll beat the case. Like if no one snitches, everybody's walking.
I don't know that that's good legal advice there, that most of the time you'll beat the case.
Imagine all four of us at a bar, we get drunk, Doey does some dumb shit, we get in a fight, someone gets severely injured, there's no cameras, no nothing but your he say, she say. If none of us talk, we is all walking.
Did we do this in the 90s or the 80s before there were cameras everywhere?
It's just an example. Like
Tony,
but to Tony's point with his terrible legal advice, a lot of times, the majority of the time, for these cases, the information just comes from everybody implicating each other. Mm-hmm. So if everybody shut up, there's that much less evidence for anybody to go off of. It makes the case a much harder sell. There's zero confessions, there's zero corroborations, or like, yeah. It just makes everything tough. Like if you look at like the cops, like 80 some, like some, I'm just coming up bullshit number, but like some absurd % of like cases are just solved by everybody just telling on themselves. Even they just give so much information to the cops that they just end up inadvertently snitching on themselves.
Not even gonna
you just didn't say anything.
If all four of us get into some complications and we know we were going to go to court or go to jail, I'm off in this nigga. Get it off. Can't trust Doughboy in a court case.
You're just gonna kill Doughboy?
This goes on. This section right here gets entered as evidence one day.
It can tell goes missing. We all part of a crime. Well, we know that man did this. That's for sure. But not like
we've pulled our finances together to buy software too. We could get RICO'd.
He could get RICO'd.
They're like, Putra Mateo were there for the conversation. They didn't notify anybody. They were part of the planning.
Tony, I got the twitch on you.
Okay.
What crime do you think you could get away with, Tony?
Oh, hey. Yeah, what is the new crime that you think you can get away with?
That's funny. It's not serious, but I would say some type of strong arm robbery. I can get away with that.
You could get away. You would not get caught.
I would not get caught.
Strong arm robbery. What would you strong arm robbery? What's your first place that you would take out?
Hypothetically?
Yeah, hypothetically. What's your first target? Strong arm robbery.
Some drug dealer's house.
Oh, you'd be
Robin Hood type shit.
You Omar, Mr. Omar
Little.
Yeah.
Just straight. I'm knocking on plywoods. Drop the bag. You don't want me to go in there. Because they ain't calling the cops. Well, you stole 2 keys from me. You going to call the cops? Nah. You think, I'm going to rob innocent people? Hell no. I'm not going to rob innocent people. Rob the billionaires and give it to the poor. I'm on some Robin Hood shit.
If I was hit a robbery, I'd hit like an Amazon warehouse and get like all the good shit.
And get
Gonna
nowhere.
get nothing but just like shitty knockoff stuff.
Gonna get generic brand shit.
It's just a series of dildo, rice cookers, bookshelves.
That's just like the Fast and Furious heist.
We got a couple banana cleaners. We know how Dory loves them with the banana cleaner.
Yo, the banana cleaning tool, yo. Everybody needs to know about it. All right?
You saw that chick I sent you that video of? She needs a banana cleaner. She eats the banana peel.
She eats the banana peel?
Yeah, that shit was terrible.
I sent Dory a video with some girl. She just grabs a banana. She ate the whole thing like that. Chomping.
That's like wild.
Ate the skin and everything.
Not even the animals do that shit.
I eat my
chimps know to fucking peel a banana.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like,
I eat my entire apple and I still think that's disgusting eating the banana.
Even the core? You eat the core too?
Yeah, we've had this talk. This is like a year ago on the podcast.
What the fuck about a year ago, Mateo? I'm not gonna remember that shit. I forget sometimes that you're colorblind. Imagine you eating a core of a fucking apple. Like,
yo, we need a magic school bus inside this guy and figure out if there's a tree growing inside of him.
as a kid, I used to
like
think if you ate like the seeds of the watermelons, you couldn't grow fucking watermelon. I used to be so nervous eating seeds. Shit was ridiculous. But no, yeah, obviously there's a cutoff for everybody. I don't think people nowadays hold by that standard. Like if you're not from the hood, right, or in a gang or live that life, people are not expecting you to hold your tongue.
Well, you got civilians and then there's like outlaws. So you got people that like live by this outlaw code. And that's what I would say are you don't snitch, you get stitches, loose lips sink ships. That's all these niggas out here. But like, I feel like if you're a civilian, you have no obligation to these outlaws or their codes.
Better question, could you fault someone if they told you straight up, like, yo, if you guys are doing anything criminal or anything like that and we get bagged, I am not keeping them out. I'm not going to jail for anybody. Do you think you should look at that person as like as a player or anything like that? Or you should be like, no, he's keeping it 100 with us. Like not.
If you're part of this outsider lifestyle, you probably just shouldn't take that person on your crimes. That would be my takeaway. This person is telling you straight up, hey, I'll help out, but I'm gonna flip if shit goes sideways. Yeah. And then you as the leader of this crime organization or this planning this crime, you're like, okay, cool. You're not coming along for the crime then.
And I'm not even saying even for a crime. We could just be chilling and something breaks out and someone, obviously is a gun owner, concealed carry, and just starts shooting at someone because, they're coming to rob them. He gets blasted, and now it's like
the One Up podcast shot at a person. Which, remember, it was all of us. All right?
I think someone keeping it real like that, There's some honor to that. You know what I'm saying? He's keeping it 100 with you. He's not gonna lie to you, keep it fake, and be like, yo, I'm not going to jail for nobody. I'm not going to jail for your gun shit, your drugs, none of that. I don't think you should give someone flack for that. But you know, some people say, nah, fuck that. That man's fake, this and that. Shit, they'll try to shit on that person. It's just like, for what? Like, ain't nobody here gonna take a charge for anybody.
I said, do I look like a gang member?
I am so far removed from
Right?
from that side of society. Like,
I mean, to take like hip hop's infatuation with it, like that's another angle. Like, it's just poor people, hip hoppers, everybody that hippity hop, that genre, and the hippity hoppers. We care too much about it. You got 1090 Jake. He does all the paperwork on YouTube. He's made a lot of money off of just talking about people's paperwork. Who has paperwork and who doesn't have paperwork? And it's a Pucho's been there. They'll have a paperwork party.
They call them paperwork parties.
what
What is it?
There'll be some allegation of Tony being a snitch, and they'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's have a paperwork party. And all the heads of the paperwork committee, they sit down with Tony usually, and they'll go through all the paperwork in front of everybody to make sure, like, to learn all the details of the case. The paperwork
wild.
being all the, like, you know,
All
the legal documents?
yeah, all the legal documents saying, like, yeah, Tony informed on such and such person. They'll be like, whoa, damn dog. So you is a snitch.
You is
So
a
you
rat.
is a snitch. Nah, we don't get down like that here. They're all West Coast dudes. The dudes having the paperwork party.
Do you
Wait,
guys?
I thought the split was north and south. Isn't that what we did in the Hood movie
That's
classics?
just for the movies.
That's just for Tony. Tony has.
Tony.
There ain't no.
It's north versus south and west.
There's no East Coast, West Coast. There's North Coast, South Coast.
Yeah. Oh fuck! I had a good question for you guys. Fuck. Thank you, Mateo, for that distraction, for that derailment. Yeah, no, lost it.
Lost
Damn it.
forever. Just like tears in the rain.
Just like
Gone.
the tears of the kingdom.
But yeah, either way, freaking. I do want to say this to you guys though. Would you take it for your family member, for your brother, or for your sister?
No. Never.
I know
Not
you-
even
I-
for a
yeah,
second.
yeah.
I
figured
don't
you
think
won't.
so.
You wouldn't take like hey,
Maybe
yeah,
for my
that's me.
mom or grandma, maybe.
For your mom or your grandma, you'll take a charge.
Yeah, I'll take a charge because
Yeah,
my
what
grandma's
type of
too.
criminal shit
Actually,
they're gonna do?
my grandma get out because she's too old to be in jail. They'll like rule her.
Right. Even if
What do
she
they-
didn't get out, you gotta let her do the time, bro. These old people, bro, they don't got a lot of time. Why are you gonna take a youth, the prime of your life, away?
What is his grandma gonna get charged with? Like taking like with a little like the label off the mattress or something?
Right?
Could you imagine Doughboy explaining to his mom, like, yo, grandma's just got to do that time. I'm young. That's it. Like, yo, you
It's like,
mama
mommy, I
hates
had
you, yo.
to.
Like,
I had to call the
snitch.
mattress police on my mom. they were gonna get us, okay?
Oh, shit.
None of us had the tags on our mattress, Mom. They got us.
That label scared me as a kid. I used to look at that label like it was a fucking gun. Like I ripped this off and I'll go to jail for 5 years.
The cops are gonna rappel into your house or something immediately.
It's gonna be like Harold and Kumar, yo. That dude looked both ways like 18 times. Yeah, he lifted his leg to step in the street, and that cop came up, woo, talking for jaywalking. Yo, like,
Oh man.
Oh, shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you stuck with us through this entire episode, we appreciate you. Would love to share with you and tell you to hit that share, subscribe, and like button. We're on Discord, all social media platforms, audio only, Spotify, iTunes, we're everywhere. But as always, go one up yourself.